everybody, or hello everybody. It might be afternoon or evening where you are, but today is day 8 of the FAB14 in February, and this is the For Fun of Knit channel where I share all my adventures and misadventures in knitting predominantly, a little bit of crochet, a little bit of spinning. But this series, as you know, is the first 14 days of February, and I'm casting something different every single day. So we are on day 8, yay! And my house, if you've not noticed the sound, echoes. And that is because all of the walls are concrete. So they're all concrete block construction, and we don't have carpeting. We have very little carpeting in the house still, and we have nothing on the walls. So all of our artwork and our shelving has yet to be put up. So you're going to hear an echo probably for the next 6 months. But you did send a lot of comments about how you like the little sneak peeks of my house. So this is just our living room sofa that I'm sitting on right now, and it is still, the sun is just coming up. You can see it's starting to get a little bit light out there. And all you're looking at is a stone wall on that view until I get my garden planted. So there's going to be hedges and all that fun stuff. Whenever you have a brand new property, there's a lot of work to do, and it takes a couple of years before it really is home. But this is very homey to me. This is my hand quilted blanket that I got in PEI from the Quilters Guild in Prince Edward Island when we were there in 2017. And so that is a beloved piece, and so it's sitting in our living room. Okay, so today, I'm not going to get any crafting done this morning. I am heading out to a garden nursery that is about 40 minutes away from me. Why am I driving so far? Because this is a nursery that specializes in exotic trees. And magnolia trees are exotic in Ireland, but they're very common. They're very, very common. They're very hardy. They can handle all the rain and all the wind, which we've had a lot of. So I am driving 40 minutes this morning to go check. I'm taking some leaves in. It's turning brown underneath. So it's got some sort of a blight or something. Maybe it's just too wet. Maybe the soil isn't draining properly. So I just need some expert advice because I don't want that magnolia tree to die. We are having the wettest. I think Patrick sent me a little news flash that it is the wettest it's been in 85 years. Oh my, it's the wettest Ireland has been in 85 years. Don't quote me, that's what he sent me an article, and if I'm wrong, I'll put it underneath here. But it was something astronomical like that. There has been rainstorms since the beginning of January. It hasn't stopped for a month. And Spain is no different right now. The Costa del Sol is no different. They're flooding everywhere. So the two of us are sitting in 2 different countries, totally getting flooded. Ridic-a-bobble. We're fortunate here. We're not getting flooded. We're high enough up, but lots of places very close to me and other places of Ireland are definitely flooding, and it's not good. It's not good. So enough about the weather though. It is still, it's blowing a gale out right now. So I'm a little bit concerned about driving. I want to wait until rush hour traffic is gone, and I'm hoping the wind dies down just a little bit because it's blowing a gale. And we're on an island. Whoosh! That wind, when it goes, it is like strong. It goes right over the terrain. Okay, back to knitting. Okay, back to the fun stuff. For the fun of knit. This is all about the fun of knit. So yesterday I cast on, and I'll put some pictures up here, I cast on the Daydreamer sweater by Andrea Mowry. This has been in my queue for a significant amount of time, and I was drawn to this particular pattern because it's very romantic. It looked a little rustic, it had a little halo on it. It had intricate stitches, not too intricate, some bobbles and some very basic cabling. But it just was all over texture. It looked warm and fuzzy, and it was romantic, and it just, I don't know. I think the photos of Andrea Mowry wearing it really sold me. But I just see myself making a hinterland dress or making some sort of a loose fitting dress and wearing this over top. Now I have chosen to knit it in, and part of my yarn selection was because of the yardage required. So this is not my deepest stash, but this is at least 4 years old. So this is Nomad Yarns Sandstone, which is 80% extra fine superwash merino, 10% mulberry silk, and 10% cashmere. It is lovely. It is a nice, the texture, oh, I can't describe how soft this is. It's not the thickest, so it's truly a fingering. Might even, you know, it's actually kind of a fine fingering, really. But the feel is just luxurious. And I am pairing it because it's a fingering weight sweater, but it's fingering and lace held together. And I'm holding it with Knitting for Olive in the color Snow. Now, I'm going to have to helical knit my mohair. This will be interesting, as best I can, or I might just change the mohair up one side, because I have 2 different dye lots of the Snow and they are slightly different. Crazy, but they are slightly different. So I don't want to have any strange things happening in my sweater, but I'm holding these 2 together. Whoops. And let me tell you, oh, I did not want to stop knitting this. I did not want to stop knitting this, but this is how far I got yesterday. I know, I stayed up, I knit. Look at how far I got yesterday, and this is the back hem. Now this is the back hem for the size 2, because I cast on the wrong number of stitches. I wanted size 3, I'm knitting size 2. But that to me is plenty wide, and this is super wash, so it is going to, if not stay the same, get a little bit looser. So the texture of this is phenomenal. This is exactly what I envisioned when I thought about a romantic sweater. I love it. I do not want to put this down. I want to go, I've done the 3 inches of ribbing on the back. Now I have to do, it says 1.5 inches for the front ribbing. I'm going to do 2 inches for the front ribbing. I don't like 1.5 inches rib. 2 is at least a little bit. So I just want to put this on the bigger needles, cast on again for the bottom ribbing, and I want to get going on this sweater. This sweater is going to challenge me, no argument. There are a whole bunch of details that I haven't done before. I've never done a honeycomb stitch. I've never done shoulder panels. So you basically knit the ribbing, join it in the round, so it is a split hem, yay. Join it in the round, knit to the shoulders, and then you start to decrease for the V-neck. And the moment you start separating for the V-neck, that is before you do, there is no shoulder shaping because it's a drop shoulder, but you separate for, or you start decreasing for the V-neck, and then you start working on the right shoulder first, and then you do the left shoulder, and then you do a panel of the cabling and bobble stitches that then joins the front and the back. This saddle piece joins the front and the back, and then you knit the bobbles all the way down the sleeve. So now I think I might do the sleeves with the actual texture, because it is what drew me to the sweater, the whole romantic feel of it. Really depends. I think I'm going to try and do smaller bobbles, not huge bobbles. So that's an important point. They also have a tutorial in this pattern for a crocheted bobble, which I've never done before. So I'm going to try that. And if I don't like that, or if it's too big, I'm going to go back to the knitted bobble that Caitlin Hunter does. The thing that I'm going to modify is I'm probably going to make the body maybe 1 repeat longer, and I have enough yarn for this, so I can gauge it as I go. I might consider making the body 1 inch longer. I am definitely going to reduce the number of decreases for the V because the pattern has a very wide V-neck. And if you look at the pattern photos of the projects that have been made, a lot of them have this, and they say the neckline is too wide, it falls off their shoulders, etc. So there are, I do believe, 28 decreases along the neckline, and I'm only going to do half of that. So I'm going to make the shoulders are going to be wider. That shouldn't affect any of the patterning on the front shoulder. It shouldn't. It might. I'll have to think about that. But I definitely do not want this massive V hanging off my shoulders. So I'm going to try and do half of the decreases and see how that works, and then I might have to adjust the pattern after that. Fingers crossed. But this is going to be another long-term project. So I am really happy that I have things like the two at a time mitts, my baker's hat, and my jelly roll blanket, which are very vanilla type of easy things to knit. I have those along with my other whips that I haven't finished compared to some of the sweaters that I'm casting on. But I'm so glad I did this because yes, the patterns that I'm choosing are a little bit complex, but I needed motivation to cast them on. So sometimes you just bypass a pattern that's a little bit more complicated or is going to take you longer, and you bypass it in favor of the vanilla knit because you just want to do the process. You just want to do the knit, and you can't think about 6 months later having a sweater. So that is when I am a process knitter, but every once in a while you want a product. So you kind of war between those sometimes. But this is how far I've gotten. I love it. Oh, the feel. Oh, this is going to be so, so, so beautiful. As long as I don't mess it up. But there you go. The cast on was a bit of a challenge, but I am all in now. So without further ado, let us go to the spinning wheel. So what is next? So difficult as this is, I now have to put that to the side. And now we are going to spin. We are going to spin for project number 8. Okay, so I still can't believe we're already on project number 8. So 13 choices left. Here we go. Project number 8 is spinning. Yay! The lemongrass sweater. Okay. This was one of the very first patterns that I purchased way back in, I don't know, when did this pattern even come out? Let me check. I'm back. I had to run outside and save my garbage bins from being blown away in the wind. So it is blowing a gale. Anyway, so we are looking at the Lemongrass pattern by Joji Locatelli. And this is this bottom up or top down? This is top down. Yay! It is using 6mm needles. Oh, yay! So I am not, so no more of the small tiny needles. Happy about that. 6mm needles. I love that it's got the cabling front. This pattern was actually published in 2012. It's one of the first patterns I bought. So I think I bought my first patterns in 2017, 2018. So that's as long as I've had it. And I bought this yarn specifically for this pattern. So before I show you the yarn, what else can I tell you? So it's an Aran weight to bulky weight sweater. It's made in superwash, which is great because all of my older stash is superwash. You knit it in the round, well, you can't knit it in the round. There's two pieces. Part of it is worked flat, and the bottom pieces are worked flat, obviously, and then it's the top, you start in the round and then you separate to do the bottom pieces. But I love the button details on the side. I don't have buttons for it yet, so I'll have to be on the hunt for that. It comes in extra small all the way to 3XL, and the bust circumferences go all the way to 58 inches. So not the most size inclusive. I'm actually kind of surprised by that, but maybe this pattern was written before the days of, you know, having to really pay attention to being size inclusive. So that's a bit disappointing. I think she should update that pattern. For my size, which is size 3, you're supposed to knit with 8 inches of positive ease. And in this sweater, I do want the positive ease. I see it as a sweatshirt over leggings, over, I'm going to make the turtleneck. I like that idea. I do like every once in a while having either a mock turtleneck or a turtleneck. I love the long ribbing on the sleeves. I think that's a lovely detail. And just, I love the scoop of the front and the back. I think it's just a beautiful pattern. And again, very sweatshirty. So it's very sweatshirty, but Linda's not doing it in a sweatshirty color. Linda is doing it in fuchsia. Now the lighting here is not really that great, but this is it. The color's a little darker than what you're seeing on the camera. But it's fuchsia, and you might recognize this. I am reusing this yarn. This yarn was originally knit. I purchased this yarn for the Lemongrass. And then, you know, that's what happened. Time goes on, you see something else, and then the Felix sweater came out. And so last year, the year before, I knit a Felix sweater held together with a similar colored mohair, silk mohair. In a previous episode, if you're gonna binge watch in a previous episode, I ended up tearing the whole thing out a couple months after I'd made it because I just made stupid fitting decisions. And it ended up being I made a size way too large for me, and then I tapered it in the body, and it just looked ridiculous and it didn't fit well and I didn't like it. So I ripped it all out. So I have all the yarn here in a bag. I got all the yarn here that has already been used once. And now I'm going to use it again, but for the original purpose. And this is Malabrigo, what is it called? Malabrigo worsted. It's just Malabrigo worsted, which is applied, I think it's a 3-ply yarn. 4-ply, is it? It's 4-ply, pardon me. It's 4-ply, 100% superwash merino in the color fuchsia. There you go. So that is the yarn. I'm so happy that I get to actually do this pattern and this yarn, and I'm so excited. The size I'm doing, was size 3, which is a 47-inch circumference because you need 8 inches of positive ease, so that's perfect. What else can I say? Other than that, I can't, and really it says you only need basically 1,050 to 1,100 yards for that size in this pattern. The largest size, which is a 58-inch, so basically it fits a 50-inch bust. See, that's not size inclusive. So that's, yeah, I would have loved to have seen this pattern been updated. But anyway, the maximum yardage in this pattern for a 50-inch bust, making a 58-inch circumference, is 1,350 yards. So it's not a ton. It's not the biggest amount of yarn, which is great. And hey, it's superwash. So there you go. I'm happy about that, which is great for sweatshirty kind of stuff. So this is going to be my lemongrass. Oh, I am so excited. I have a hot pink sweater in my, I do have a couple of pink sweaters. We will say that. I didn't used to be a pink girl. Now I'm a pink girl. And it's sort of a purpley girl too. So that is what I'm gonna cast on next. But before I sign off, I should tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing Stephen West's Enchanted Mesa. And this is a very fun, I call it an artistic knit because it is a weird shape. It's, you know, one sleeve is higher than the other. It is all done in a sort of a draping circular motion. It is a great sweater for using up leftovers. And yeah, some of it's held 2 colors together. Some of it's marled, some of it's with mohair. You can just play with it. And it is a gorgeous sweater. See, it's got all sorts of things happening. So I love this sweater. I do not mind that it's got one arm is up here and one arm is down at your elbow. I don't know if I can stand up and show it to you, but see, it's sort of a strange diagonally shape, but if you make it for me, excuse me, I made it in almost a worsted weight, I think, because it's fingering hill double with mohair. So mine is it's a heavy DK to worsted weight, and I made it in the right side. Well, the funny thing is with this pattern is the size is dependent on your yarn that you're using. So mine is a larger, looser fit. You can use fingering weight and get less. You can make it basically any way you like it. It is a wonderful pattern. It's the Enchanted Mesa by Stephen West. I'm not doing it justice because there's too many things to this pattern, but I love it. It is a great sweater, but hey, purples, pinks, browns, grays, fuchsias, cream, white. I like all the colors. I like them all, and I'm knitting them all. So there you go. That is cast on number 8. So I better get cracking, but I'm not going to start that until this afternoon because I have to go try and save a magnolia tree. So on that note, I will catch you a little bit later. Okay, so I showed you a little bit of video going to the nursery to save our magnolia tree, and that was a fun little excursion. Super windy, my car kept getting buffeted, and lots of semi-trailer trucks had actually pulled over because the wind was so strong. Their trailers were wobbling back and forth, so a little freaky. But nice to get out. I got some fresh air, which was great. Totally rained, like we were out in the nursery and I got absolutely soaked just because of the wind. You couldn't keep your hat on. Anyway, I have cast on, and I just thought I'd show you where it's hard to see, but I cast on 6mm needles as per the pattern. Cast on with using a cabled cast on. And I have done 3 rounds. Not liking the fabric at all. Look at how loose that is. That is, you can see right through it. Look at that. You can see right through it. And to me, when a stitch pattern is that loose, unless you're doing a lace, when it's that loose, there's not going to be a lot of memory, you know, in the ribbing. It's just going to hang. That's my theory anyway. And this might be superwash and it's just going to stretch more. So I do not want this level of openness in my stitches. So I think what I'm going to do, 2 different things I'm going to do. One, I am going to rip it out. Yep, gonna rip it out, and I am going to recast it on for 1 size larger, which is the size 4, and it gives 51 inches, which is a lot more. That is what, that's 11, 12 inches more than I need. So I'm hoping if I go down 2 needle sizes to a 5, so not a 5.5, but down to a 5, I'll get a fabric that I like better. So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm not going to use my shorties. I'm going to use an actual 5mm needle with maybe a 22-inch cable because I think it was too crunchy on the 9.5-inch circulars. So that would be the second thing. The third thing is I'm just going to do a long tail cast on because a long tail cast on isn't as stretchy. And how you start it is you cast on right where the cabling starts, and then at the end of the knitting, once you've done sleeves and everything, then you go back, you pick up stitches on the neck and you work the turtleneck. So that actually kind of makes sense in that you want to have more structure. You don't want it to be super stretchy, otherwise it will just kind of sag down. So those are 3 little amendments I'm going to make, and so that's it for me today. Just thought I would share that with you because yet again I'm having to cast on more than once. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.